Welcome to Newerth, mother.
What's going on, everyone? Welcome back. Which here, as Heroes of Newerth Reborn is about to drop. Well, we're about to drop as well. From excitement, personally at least. I hope you guys are excited too to jump into the game and play it. For the new players, we want as much new players as possible. And of course, for the old ones, I know nostalgia has hit the vein. So I'm sure you'll try at least some games before you make a decision if you're about to dedicate more time or not. Well, keep in mind that the game now feels more suited to the casual vibe rather than the game that you were used to. So let's dive right into the patch notes, which is today's topic. To do a quick rundown, they implemented that patch 2 days ago and they made major changes to the game. Well, in some parts, in some others there are minor changes, but I feel overall we're heading to the correct path if I have understood correctly what they are aiming for. So now, a returning hero engineer, one of my favorite, and I also believe one of your favorite. Well, a very versatile unit. You can play this unit almost in every position. You can play as a carry, mid, off lane, even as a position 4. However, as a soft support, I don't strongly recommend that because of the Steam turret. The character needs farm in order for the Steam turret to be effective late game. And of course, energy field becomes weaker and weaker as you proceed to the late game. In case they have a character with fast basic hits, like Forsaken Archer for example, Malikan maybe, with Madness, they can destroy the energy field pretty fast, and basically it's an ultimate that will go to waste. Keep in mind that might happen. Of course, we had the Blingo, the gacha of this game, one of my favorite gachas, as you basically earn points by playing the game. 2 drops for 1 win from Forest of Kaldavar, the normal map, and 1 drop from losing, so whatever happens you'll gain 1 drop. And of course meteors 1 drop as well per match. Either you win, either you lose, and if you want to grind the Plinko, this is the best way, meteors, as the matches are faster, and winning or losing, it doesn't really matter, you'll gain 1 drop per match. Now, moving to cosmetics, nothing to mention here. You can now pick your cosmetics to couriers, wards, characters, whatever. That wasn't implemented so far. In general updates, the most important part is concede vote has been removed. It is what it is. I'm not 100% on the same page with them, because in some cases matches feel overwhelming if the enemy team is way ahead on kills and way ahead on items. It feels like you can't do anything, and even if people can't concede, they still can go ask. So what's the point? I mean, they will just go ask if they don't want to play, and you will be forced to wait until the enemy team destroys the base. Tickets have been correctly connected to your account. Improved death summary, this is also important now. You can check all the damage that you took from every single source, from skills, basic hits, whatever, from all the characters. Boss updates, this is also important. They removed mana pool from the bosses and added an on-hit debuff that reduces your lifesteal by 50%. This effort is basically to negate early Kongor kills, along with the Kongor now spawns at minute 10. Those changes are made basically to negate the fact that Gorbist, for example, Madman, or other beneficial characters could kill Kongor very early and very fast, and probably they want a smoother pace for that, because Kongor feels unkillable early on if the enemy's team managed to spawn that before the 10-minute mark. On the other hand, I'm not again on the same page with this change, as you could implement strategies for push, having Gorbist and Ophelia, for example, in the same team, in order to win as fast as possible, and having also an early Kongor kill could work. Now, how having Ophelia and Gorbist in the same team could work? Well, it was an example, right? Maybe you have Polywog or Defiler and Gorbist, right? Something that has a push. It came in mind because she also has units and they implement some items that will help your overall push. Now, the scaling adjustments as well are important, because now not only they're gaining extra stats from respawn, but both of the bosses gain extra stats per minute. Not huge stats, some damage and some HP, but have that in mind. Also, the scaling per charge now got reduced for Kongor, and the scaling adjustment is entirely new for the Phoenix. Alright, now moving on to the items, we have 3 items: Belt of Vitality, Beads and Stormlance. Those items are items that you need in order to make a final item. Those are the base, right? The new items basically are the final items is the Devourer's Gauntlet. That has an insane passive besides the stats. The stats are nothing huge, but the passive, upon killing an enemy hero, you gain 3 charges, upon killing an enemy unit, 1 charge. You can reach up to 60 charges, and each charge grants 3 max health in a total of 180 max health. It's not insane, but for the cost of the item, it's a great asset. Also, you get extra magic armor. So if you're seeking for something to have more HP, to sustain the fights and having an extra magic armor, this item is king. Now, Inquisitor's Flave, fire item, guys. This item is fire, alright? Suit me. The passive is insane, 15 seconds cooldown. When you receive an instance of 60 plus magic damage, which is basically almost every skill, smite the attacker for 60 magic damage and silence them for 1 second. Fire, baby! That can negate almost all the burst characters. Pyromancer, Witch Slayer, everything that has burst, the moment they dive you with the portal key and try to combo kill you, after the first skill they're gonna get silenced and you have a great opportunity to escape. Well, usually stun lasts longer, so maybe they have time to do other skills as well, but still it gives you time or time to your team to react before you die instantly. Now, Flame Belcher, expensive item. This item provides range, as you can make it with Foxbow. Foxbow provides extra attack range to melee and range. 75 if melee, 150 if range. Cannot stack with Wingbow, of course. And you have an active skill every 30 seconds that you can blast a 90 cone degree skill. 500 range, quite decent. You do 250 physical damage, okay, but you stun the target for 1 second. And this item is insane. To align that with other items or characters, combine an insane stun combo. You also have the stun from the upgraded Basher that does extra stuns. Extra stun, and you can combine something like that in order to keep a key character, a core character from the enemy team in place for a long time, right? You can also knock back, so if you die from behind, you can send the character back to your team. Now, Psionic Hood, insane item, very cheap. Summons headdress, so if you don't want to upgrade your summon headdress into the idol and have a team magic shield, you can upgrade it to Psionic Hood. This is a crazy item because it also provides you with 15% CD reduction. The other stats are quite similar with the idol, a bit lower in terms of debuff and stun resistance, but the magic armor is the same. But also, when you receive damage, it doesn't matter from what source, just damage. Maybe it's physical, maybe it's magical. You gain a charge up to 50 charges, and all those charges reducing your magic damage by 0.4 per charge. So, of course, the charges can be decayed after 1.5 seconds without damage, but within a fight, you'll take damage from almost every single source. And having, I don't know, a character. Probably this might be good, for example, for Elonia or characters that have constant spam of magic skills, and this might be quite helpful if you're playing something that will be around the fight or within the fight, inside the fight for a long period of time. Pharaoh came in mind, Darmadon came in mind, you know, characters that also play way ahead of the team. Now, Desert Scream, also a new item. This is the upgraded version of Jade Spirit, so you still keep the 200 cast range modifier. You also get mana regeneration, and every 22 seconds you can active a skill with 700 range. This is like a circle skill, like Pyromancer stun, like Torturer stun, and whoever is inside the circle, if the allies will get 40% movement speed for 1.5 seconds. This is also really good, and I feel this item is way better from Energizer. So but it's very costly, so you can start Energizer on your carry, for example, if it's suited for the carry to make it, and you can sell it later and make the support buy this, because not only you gain movement speed, but also dispels buffs, which is huge, and if there are enemies, of course, and also immobilizing them for 1.5 seconds. This is crazy item, right? Now, all those items, all the boots got upgraded versions. The Steam boots got an upgrade, and now you can, with a Blessed Orb, you can make it and get 20% base stats, strength, agility, or intelligence based on the toggle. This is extremely huge. 20% agility on carries, for example, it's so much damage. And you don't have to actually sell your boots in the late game if you wanted to have something that's more game changing in the late game. Of course, the Ghost Marchers also got an upgrade with an item that we saw earlier, the Stormlance. Alright, so this is the upgraded version of Ghost Marchers. And of course, you have the same active effect as the Ghost Marchers, but also a unique passive that when you move, you gain charges and up to 100 charges, and your attack, after having maximum charges, will do of course the maximum amount of damage, which is huge, because if you have something with great mobility and you're moving around, your hits will hurt. If you don't have something with basic attack spam that stays inside the fight for a long time. Well, basically everything that you can build up based on the Phantasmal Threads, it's fine. Something that came in mind on me might be also Rampage, which it's a unit that has also a lot of movement speed by itself, and you don't hit so often. So having that as well, your third passive, your third attack will hurt and hit like a fucking truck. All right. Now, Crown Greaves. This is an actual item that it's very underestimated, the boots item, because of the aura. The aura gives 20% base damage, armor, mana regeneration, and lifesteal. Now, with the upgrade, that's Plated Greaves along with Abyssal Skull. This is one of the best boots, in my humble opinion, because of the 20% base damage. Having characters with huge base damage, Pebbles was the first in mind. Have someone with Crown Greaves on the team will boost the overall power of Pebbles drastically. And of course, you have the active that gives armor and base damage, and of course 100% chance to reduce incoming attack damage by 8 to all the non-hero units. Very suited item if you're playing with summons like Warbeast, Ophelia, Keeper of the Forest, and other characters that have this genre of skills. Immortal Pride, this is the upgraded version of Insanitarius along with Belt of Vitality, the item that we saw again, sorry, at the beginning. Alright. Also, Shaman's Headdress needs this item now. They also made some changes in the items, and you need different items in order to craft the old ones. And of course, same goes here. You're also getting the 15% stun resistance modifier and 15% debuff resistance modifier. This is really good on characters like Predator and Malkian, that you need them active as long as possible in the fight without being immobilized. And of course, Obsidian Bell, now spell slots do not have 3 charges, it's just the item itself, and you can upgrade it with Nacolite Staff to the Obsidian Bell, which is the upgraded version, and you do tons of magic damage. Moving on to hero updates, Andromeda got a bit nerfed. The duration of Aurora, the spam button, now it lasts only 8 seconds. Well, nerf. It is what it is. I don't feel it's a game-changing change. Boom Dash no longer has the reduced damage on units other than heroes, so now Bombardier can farm easier in jungle, in the lane, you name it. Defiler cooldown rescaled from 100 to 130, 115 and 100. This is technically a nerf, because Defiler early on could use her ultimate so often and destroy all the tier 1s along with the team, and this was an insane edge for the team early on, so this is a decent change. I also think this is one of the strongest mids, since she has one of the biggest spam damage skills and doesn't cost that much mana. I have played it a lot on mid, and I feel like she's very strong. Even with that change, I feel she's still very strong. Devour, of course, the Devour channel's range increased from 400 to 600, so we have a buff on the ultimate. However, they changed entirely the stuff of the master effect, and now it's the old one. At least from what I remember, now you can devour one ally unit, and you also heal at the same time. Of course, target pre-existing status effects shrunken into whatever are post, and also applies restraint to self-teleport. Teleporting causes the target to fall out in place, so have that in mind as well. It's a good upgrade if you go Staff of the Master in order to save your allies from weird situations, I'd say. So also now Devourer feels more suited for other positions, or support positions, that was I wanted to say. Drunken Master, they nerfed Drunken Master a bit. Evasion per charge got reduced and critical chance per charge got reduced, so those Drunken Master spammers in public matchmaking, keep that in mind. Empath is a little stronger right now on the early state of the game. Stun duration is scaled to be a little higher in the early state of the game, but is getting the stun duration is getting reduced in the late state of the game. If I am okay with this change, maybe that's also a nerf, because if you can manage to go late game with Empath, those 0.2 seconds for a character like Predator, for example, it's one more hit, and Predator hits like a goddamn truck, so maybe it's a nerf. Also, you have 0.4 seconds in the early game, so maybe it's a buff, not quite sure. Flux got reduced base strength to 3.2 per level. Flux was extremely strong, still is one of the best, one of the strongest characters right now on HoN Reborn, at least, since we don't have all the characters out yet. Insane ultimate and insane skills in general. Very a character that can do a lot of plays within the game and can be played, of course, in multiple positions. For Zerg and Archer, Split Fire now. Correctly use your attack range for the split shots as well. That was an issue when you were playing Wingbow or other range items. Now it's fixed. Rocket Fist. This is also something that I didn't felt right. Gauntlet was the only character that when you upgraded when you built Staff of the Master, I felt like instead of gaining power, the effect was slower because of the delay on the ultimate cast. Now the projectile lifetime reduced from 2 to 1 second, so it's way faster, and the gravity increased from 2.3 to 3.5, so that's quite a buff, and I feel a decent change. Also, Gunblade got buffed, because the suit now, instead of being 3 bullets in a single line, now it's in a cone, right? So you can do also the same total damage, but applying a stronger signal slow. Keep that in mind as well. I don't feel Gunblade is one of the strongest characters right now in position as a position of a carry. If it's not fed, if it's fed, it's one of the strongest. Okay, King Cloud as well, cooldown rescaled, and now the cooldown of Blaster is lower. Again, a very strong character, and if you know how to play him, you can dominate a lot of pubs. And I don't feel it's a insane buff, but it's a buff for sure. Lodestone as well, one of the weakest off-laners, I'd say, for the late game. I don't like him at all as the game progresses to late. You need to build him, I don't know, around Doras. I feel like maybe around Doras it's more helpful. I don't like his basic attack, I don't like the ultimate so much in the late game. It's a good character for the Lodestone lovers, right? Don't call out on me. But I feel like as long as we move on to the late game, the impact is lower and lower. So now at least the damage is spread to physical and magical, to both of Head Smash and Shatterstorm, in order to do some more damage. I think we'll have follow-up buffs on Lodestone eventually. Or maybe not. Maybe it's just my feeling. Magmus as well increased base strength to 24. And strength gain per level, of course, increased as well. This is quite a change. Magmus is very squishy, one of the squishiest strength units. So this was a decent change as well for him. Midas got hyper buffed. Well, hyper buffed. In my mind, it is hyper buffed because they reduced the mana cost to both Golden Salvo and Lion's Pride, the main skill. Sorry, they reduced mana cost on every single skill. And Midas is a mana hungry character, and that change was sick. Now, at least the transmute no longer applies Midas stats, but transmuting an enemy hero grants 20 gold at the highest level. The damage increased to 300 per proc, so now you can do way more damage with your with your combination of transmuting the enemy, and of course all your skills getting cooldown reduction. I've played Midas recently and I feel the character is sick. Nighthound radius increase from 250 and to 302 pounds, a decent change. Nymphora's Zeal, this is quite a buff for Nymphora. Cast time of the skill Nymphora's Zeal is being reduced to 0.665 and cast action time reduced from 400 to 250. So you guys can cast Nymphora's Zeal faster now. And Nymphora as a laner, you had to be skilled in order to apply your stun, or you had to use it as a follow-up after your laner casts their stun or their skill, alright, in order to manage to hit that skill. Now it's easier, I'd say, so that's quite a buff for her. Also, Polycock Priest, now Staff of the Master, gives an ability to electric jolt, to jolting your voodoo wards, okay, and increasing their attack speed for 1 second, but for 175, so I guess it's 2 or 3 hits more within that. I don't know if electric jolts also, you can cast it to your wards and affecting also the enemy if it's close, for example, a huge radius on the skill. Haven't yet checked. If that's the case, it's huge, but also only the cooldown reduction to 4 seconds if you're playing him with another cooldown reduction item. You might have jolt constantly. Predator, run away, one of my favorite characters. This is a very famous character in Heroes of Newerth because of this meme, run away. Well, Venomous Leap now got nerfed, now applies 1 charge of terror instead of 2. You might need to build Staff of the Master now, or the other item that, or melees that you can do 2 hits. This one is sick for Predator. I don't know if it's bugged or not, but instead of 4 hits, or 2 from the item and 2 from Predator, for some reason you activate the ultimate with 2 hits. The first hit basically does 3 hits. I don't know why, maybe it's bugged, and you do 1 more hit and you have your ultimate up. And you weren't counting on Venomous Leap in order to activate your ultimate. As in fight, you have to be constantly on ultimate in order to be efficient. Venomous Leap was a great asset on that, but you can also build Staff of the Master to mitigate the activation time. Rampage, base movement speed increased, base strength increased, strength gain per level increased, agility gain per level increased. Damn! They reworked though Might of the Herd, now does a shockwave, does damage and disarming you, so you can't hit, but you can do the shockwave and you'll do damage to your enemies within range. Scout also got nerfed now, and buffed as well on the Vanish. Now the cooldown is reduced to 6 seconds in all levels. I don't count that actually as a nerf, or as a buff, I'm sorry. But Electric Eye for sure no longer blocks neutral spawn. This is quite sad, as Scout was very useful on that. Well, not all the Scouts can play with Electric Eye to the max potential, but there were players at high MMR that could completely abuse this thing with the Electric Eyes. Solstice, insane buff, now the character is way more playable. Now you can change day and night mode on a 45-second cooldown, so if it's night and you want to still farm, it's possible. If it's day and you want to go for ganks, still possible. Not that you can't gank on day, but your potential is higher during the nights for sure. And Staff of the Master reducing, changing actually day and night mode cooldown reduction to 0 seconds, so you can toggle it basically to whatever your preference is. And of course increases damage and healing in day mode and adds damage on night mode, so you hit like a truck in night mode. Trust me with Staff of the Master in this character. And right now with this change it's a way more doable jungle, even if I don't like jungle at all on HoN Reborn. It is what it is though. Slither cooldown increased from 110, 90 and 70 to 80 seconds, so the ultimate now has a little higher cooldown for some seconds. Nothing detrimental there. Swift Blade, now this is actually huge. I played Swift Blade a lot and I always had that problem with your target getting out of vision and the ultimate was stopping. Now it doesn't. If the target briefly enters fog, the ultimate will give up. And another, I don't know if this is actually a nerf or a buff, but I feel it's a nerf. Because Thunderbringer in this game, with all those magic items, was completely sick. Now basic attack range increased though, so you can farm easier on lane with hits, but also the ultimate changed and now it's a global AoE spell that deals damage over 9 seconds. You spawn a thundercloud at the target location that does damage. Well, hitting all enemies, of course, in a huge radius, dealing 200 magic damage and applying also a movement speed slow. No longer has a Staff of the Master upgrade, so it is what it is now. Alright, it can help, because it's an AoE, global AoE skill, it can help your teammates to set up a kill, for sure, but it doesn't have the same impact as the classic ultimate had. Torturer, one of my favorite characters as well for mid, and I don't feel that character needed a buff, but now they increase also the base damage for him. Well, usually you don't farm that much with basic hits with this character, but at least he'll have a better early as well. Valkyrie also got some nice buffs. The agility and strength per level increased, and of course some base armor. She was hurting a lot from armor, this is a good change. Additionally, the mana cost decreased to 110 and 25 on the level 3 and 4. Alright, and the projectile speed also increased. Arrow to the maximum distance decreased. Quite some buffs there. Also to the ultimate, the rescaling and the fade time reduced. So if you cast ultimate, it will be applied faster. This is quite changes for this character, and it's a very playable character, very famous one. Also, Voodoo Jester got a small buff to the base strength and base movement speed as well. One of the greatest supports the game has. I like Voodoo a lot, and it's a king on pubs, but also a very reliable character for competitive, I'm pretty sure. Warbeast. Summon Hellhounds. Hellhounds, Staff of the Master, reworked entirely. Now Hellhounds have double HP, and their hits increase friendly units base damage by 4%, stacking up to 20 times. So prepare yourselves. One of the most annoying characters, especially on pubs. Prepare yourselves now for Mega Push. Because playing this character with Puzzle Box and Dominator right now can increase the overall damage of all your summoned units by 10%. This is its stack. 4%, yeah, stacks to 20 times. So 2, 4, 80, it's easy to 80% more damage. This is crazy, man. If you have other summons in the team, your push will be huge. I don't remember if Polyworks Priest wards considered us as friendly units, but if it is, this is huge. Along with Staff of the Master on the Polywork, imagine. Well, and lastly, Zephyr, base attack damage increased from 48 to 52. This is a really good change for Zephyr. Zephyr is also a strong character on the mid to late game. Base agility also increased, and agility per level increased. Decent buffs also for our friend Zephyr. Here is also the changes that I've mentioned, the new build-up for Summon Headdress, the new build-up for Barrier Idol. The items didn't change exactly, but the items that you need in order to make them changed. As you guys can see, we had so many changes on this update. And the most important one, Ophelia's Pact, many people mentioned that and it was a little annoying. Now auto consumes on purchase, you don't have to click it again. You get the item and the quest gets activated by itself, and you have some strong effects to choose from. I believe the older ones were more broken, but those one are more game changing within the game, especially in the late game. So you have to choose wisely one of the 3 effects that you consider it will bring more value to your team. All of those have to do with the Raven that you can implement on a tree and get vision. Alright? But you have to experience that in order for me to explain what the Raven does. For those that playing, no. And I'm pretty sure you will sit and read it. Now Grimoire also reworked, and now the active grants an extra 50% magic lifesteal for 5 seconds instead of magic damage. Additionally, it's not mentioned here, but you still have the dot effect. In Sanitarius, toggle effects change, and now the most important thing here is that the health loss per second from 40 went to 35, so in Sanitarius starting to become a way more reliable item early on. Frostfield Plate increased the attack slow to 15%, that's huge, 15% now actually matters a lot. Rune Cleaver, damage increased to 50, way more damage with Rune Cleaver. A little lower though to creeps, and radius increased to 300, small buffs there, nothing detrimental. Fixed Inner's Inscription working on gadget, alright. Twin Blades, this is the item I mentioned earlier for Pred, now from 5 to 6. Increase CD from 5 to 6, now reduces CD on attack by 0.5 seconds. This is a decent nerf to the item. The item was really strong in characters like Predator, Madman or Kraken. And all the items, all the auras that we have on the game right now, the aura increased from 600 to 900. Many people I've seen playing on pubs, well, it's pubs and I shouldn't be complaining about it, but I can't watch this and be silent. I've seen very many supports going for codex or going for full aggressive items, and they can't even utilize correctly the items. So have in mind that having auras as a position 4, as a position 5, as a position 3, even as a meter, will help overall your team fight later on. Having an Energizer in the team can save supporters. Having a plated Graves upgraded, especially with the base damage, can be a huge assist to your carry if you have something with good base damage. Even if you don't, it increases your carry's damage. So it's a good item to have for an offlaner, for example, or for a jungler or whatever. Alright, those items are not their Astroblade. The upgraded boots with Astroblade and Ring of Sorcery also provide a healthy regeneration aura if you're playing a push team. All those items can be really helpful, and I haven't seen people using them so much. This is my small complaint. Well, it is what it is. This was everything for the patch notes. The first patch notes that the game had. A lot of changes, as you guys can see. I decided to do this video not only for the old players that might were bored to read all of those and were preferred to listen, but also to point out to the new players that the devs are bothering, and a lot. As you see, we had multiple updates, multiple changes. Most of them are not that often that detrimental, but we had a lot of new items, a lot of serious reworks on the characters, like the rework on the Lightning Storm on Thunderbringer, on Warbeast and Devourer. They completely changed their skills also to Rampage. It feels more suited, I'd say, for everyone. They're trying to balance the game as much as it's possible before they decide to launch new heroes as well. Anyway, see you tomorrow on the release. I hope for you guys to have a blast playing the game, and until next time, see ya!